Listen carefully, because what you do when a woman comes back after leaving you defines your value and the future of the connection. Too many men panic in this situation. They react impulsively, try to win her back immediately, or allow past hurt to cloud their judgment. That behavior kills attraction and lowers your position in her eyes. The truth is, a woman returning after leaving creates a unique opportunity for clarity, control, and self-respect. How you respond will determine whether you regain alignment, maintain dignity, and command respect, or end up in the same unbalanced dynamic as before. Modern dating rewards men who act with calmness, clarity, and strategy. Stoicism is the mindset that allows you to respond effectively. You control your emotions, act in alignment with your standards, and do not let her return disrupt your priorities or self-worth. When a woman comes back, it is not about jealousy, punishment, or games. It is about assessing whether she is genuinely ready to contribute to a balanced connection and whether you are willing to accept her back on your terms. In this video, we'll break down 7 key actions and mindsets to adopt when she returns. You'll learn how to navigate her return with composure, strengthen attraction, and prevent falling into old patterns. Understanding these steps allows you to maintain your confidence, reinforce your value, and create a dynamic where respect, desire, and emotional clarity thrive. Acting correctly is not about playing hard to get. It's about aligning with your own standards and ensuring that her return earns consideration, not entitlement. 1. Assess her intentions. When a woman comes back after leaving, the first and most important step is to assess her intentions. Many men react emotionally, immediately forgiving or assuming her return is proof of desire or growth. That is a mistake. Understanding why she returned is critical to protecting your value and making a rational decision. She may have come back out of loneliness, convenience, or regret, or she may genuinely want to rebuild the connection. Your job is to observe, not react. Start by paying attention to her words, actions, and consistency. Is she taking responsibility for leaving? Is she showing genuine interest in your needs and priorities? Is her return accompanied by meaningful change, or is it simply an attempt to regain comfort and attention from a man she knows values her? Many men ignore these signals and jump straight into familiarity, which often results in repeating the same patterns that led to her departure in the first place. By assessing her intentions calmly and rationally, you separate emotional impulse from strategic decision-making. Take stock of your feelings too. Are you willing to accept her back if her motives are genuine? Are you emotionally ready to navigate the challenges that may arise from her previous exit? Self-awareness is as important as evaluating her behavior. Stoicism teaches that we control our responses, not external events. Her return is an event. Your response is the measure of your value. Do not rush to prove affection or loyalty. Observe how she approaches reconnection. Does she communicate openly? Does she demonstrate consistency and accountability? Actions speak louder than words. If she is willing to invest effort, show understanding, and align with your values, then engagement can be considered. If she returns with excuses, defensiveness, or entitlement, it signals a lack of readiness for a balanced connection. Emotional clarity, observation, and patience are your tools here. Resist the urge to chase, justify, or immediately forgive without evidence of change. A man who assesses intentions first preserves self-respect, maintains standards, and ensures that any renewed connection is based on mutual choice rather than impulse or insecurity. By carefully evaluating her motives and behavior, you position yourself as a man of discernment, strength, and strategic thinking, which naturally enhances attraction and respect in the modern dating world. This first step sets the tone for all other decisions and actions you take in response to her return. 2. Maintain emotional control. When a woman comes back after leaving, the most important quality you can display is emotional control. Too many men react impulsively. They become overly excited, anxious, or defensive, revealing that their emotional state depends on her actions. That kind of response immediately lowers your value and signals neediness. Stoicism teaches that your emotions should be aligned with your principles, not dictated by external events. Her return is an event, not a determinant of your self-worth. Maintaining calm and measured responses demonstrates stability, confidence, and self-respect. Start by controlling immediate reactions. Do not rush to respond to messages, calls, or visits. Take your time to process the situation logically and evaluate your feelings and intentions. This does not mean being cold or indifferent. It means engaging with clarity rather than reacting out of desire or fear of loss. Emotional control also involves setting boundaries. She may attempt to test your reactions through guilt, apologies, or promises. Recognize these behaviors as opportunities to reinforce your standards, rather than bending to her attempts to regain power. A man who remains composed under these circumstances communicates that his presence is not guaranteed and that he values himself first. Many men fall into the trap of over-explaining or apologizing for perceived shortcomings, which undermines the authority of their emotional state. Instead, focus on listening actively, responding calmly, and ensuring that your engagement is intentional rather than automatic. Your confidence in managing your emotions also influences her perception. Women are naturally attracted to men who can navigate emotional complexity without losing balance. When she notices that you are not reactive, she begins to reassess her approach, understanding that you are not a fallback or convenience. Emotional control provides space for rational assessment and prevents repeating past mistakes. It also gives you the ability to make strategic decisions rather than impulsive choices that may compromise your value. By staying composed, you strengthen your position, reinforce respect, and create a dynamic where she has to demonstrate effort, alignment, and sincerity. Ultimately, controlling your emotions is not about withholding affection. It is about ensuring that any renewed connection is grounded in mutual respect, accountability, and choice, rather than impulsive emotional reactions. A man who masters emotional control commands presence, influence, and attraction in the modern dating landscape. Third, set clear boundaries. When a woman returns after leaving, establishing clear boundaries is essential. Many men make the mistake of resuming the connection exactly where it left off, assuming that familiarity will smooth over past issues. This approach often leads to repeated patterns of disappointment, disrespect, and imbalance. Boundaries are the framework that protects your time, energy, and emotional well-being while signaling that your presence is conditional on respect, consistency, and alignment. Start by defining what you will accept and what you will not tolerate. For example, consider communication frequency, honesty, effort, and respect for your priorities. If she broke trust in the past, boundaries around accountability and transparency are critical. Be explicit about these expectations, but communicate them calmly and without aggression. Many men fear that setting boundaries will push her away, but the opposite is true. Clear boundaries increase respect, reinforce attraction, and establish your value. Women respond positively to men who demonstrate self-respect and control over their own life, rather than bending to emotional impulses. Boundaries also serve as a test of her intentions. If she is genuinely committed to rebuilding the connection, she will respect your limits, demonstrate effort, and align her behavior with your standards. If she resists, argues, or disregards your boundaries, it is an immediate signal that the dynamic is unlikely to change. This allows you to make a rational decision about whether continued engagement is worthwhile. Setting boundaries is not about punishment or control. It is about clarity and alignment. It communicates that you are serious about your needs and that your time and attention are valuable. Boundaries protect you from falling into old patterns of chasing, overcompensation, or emotional overinvestment. They also create a framework for mutual respect, accountability, and trust, which are essential for any sustainable connection. Many men underestimate the power of boundaries because they confuse firmness with rigidity. In reality, boundaries give structure to the relationship, define expectations, and provide a reference point for evaluating her actions and sincerity. By maintaining boundaries consistently, you reinforce your value, prevent emotional exploitation, and create an environment where her return must be based on genuine alignment rather than convenience or habit. This approach ensures that any renewed connection is healthy, balanced, and sustainable, while positioning you as a man of strength, self-respect, and strategic thinking in the modern dating world. Fourth, observe her actions, not just words. When a woman comes back after leaving, it is crucial to focus on her actions rather than simply listening to her words. Words can be persuasive, flattering, or manipulative, but actions reveal true intent and character. Many men make the mistake of believing apologies, promises, or declarations of love without verifying behavioral change. This is where Stoicism and strategic awareness come into play. You must observe consistency, accountability, and effort over time before allowing trust or emotional investment to grow. Begin by noticing how she behaves in everyday interactions. Does she follow through on commitments? Does she respect your time and boundaries? Does she show genuine interest in rebuilding the connection through meaningful actions rather than empty promises? Men often overlook subtle patterns, such as inconsistent communication, excuses, or selective effort, which can indicate lingering disinterest or unreliability. Reacting emotionally to words alone can trap you in repeated cycles of disappointment. Observing actions provides clarity and protects your emotional well-being. It also forces her to demonstrate alignment with your standards if she truly wants to re-engage. Patience and attention to detail are key here. Take note of how she responds under stress, whether she prioritizes honesty, and how she integrates effort into her return. Actions are the proof that words are genuine, and they reflect commitment, respect, and maturity. Many men fail to recognize the difference, allowing charm, apologies, or temporary displays of affection to overshadow long-term patterns. By staying objective, you maintain control of the situation and avoid emotional overinvestment. Evaluating actions also empowers you to make informed decisions about how far to engage. If her behavior consistently aligns with accountability, effort, and respect, you can consider gradual reconnection. If not, you maintain distance and protect your value. Observing actions first ensures that you do not compromise your standards, reinforces your position of strength, and communicates that your presence is conditional on genuine alignment. It is a measure of discernment, composure, and strategic thinking. A man who observes, evaluates, and responds to actions rather than being swayed by words demonstrates confidence, control, and high value in the modern dating world. This principle ensures that any renewed connection is authentic, reciprocal, and built on demonstrated effort rather than empty promises, preserving both respect and attraction. Fifth, take time before re-engaging. When a woman returns after leaving, one of the most powerful actions you can take is to give yourself time before re-engaging fully. Many men make the mistake of jumping back in immediately, driven by desire, nostalgia, or ego. This impulsive response communicates neediness and a lack of boundaries, lowering your value in her eyes. Time creates clarity, perspective, and emotional control. By stepping back, you allow yourself to evaluate her intentions, reflect on past dynamics, and assess whether her return aligns with your standards. This pause also gives her the opportunity to demonstrate genuine effort, consistency, and accountability, rather than relying on immediate acceptance. Waiting does not mean ignoring her completely. It means engaging thoughtfully, on your own terms, and without urgency. Many men misinterpret distance as indifference, but in reality, measured absence reinforces your worth and emphasizes that your attention is earned. During this period, observe her behavior closely. Is she consistent in her communication? Does she show respect for your boundaries and priorities? Does she actively contribute to rebuilding trust and alignment? Time allows you to see patterns that words alone cannot reveal. It also strengthens your emotional resilience and prevents you from repeating past mistakes. Men who re-engage too quickly often fall into the trap of overcompensation, apologizing for perceived past errors, or trying to regain her favor. This undermines the very leverage her return provides and signals a willingness to accept imbalance. By taking time, you maintain control, preserve self-respect, and set a standard that your presence is valuable. This strategic pause also creates natural tension and curiosity on her part, reinforcing attraction. She begins to recognize that your life is not paused for her return and that your standards are firm. The pause becomes a test of sincerity and readiness. If she truly wants to reconnect meaningfully, she will demonstrate effort, patience, and respect for your process. Ultimately, taking time before re-engaging ensures that any renewed connection is based on genuine alignment rather than impulse, desire, or convenience. It preserves your confidence, reinforces your boundaries, and allows attraction to grow naturally through thoughtful evaluation, consistent standards, and measured responses. In the modern dating world, men who master this pause navigate returns with strategic clarity, maintaining value and control while allowing genuine reconnection to occur under conditions that respect both partners' emotional integrity. 6. Reinforce your value. When a woman comes back after leaving, reinforcing your value is crucial. Many men make the mistake of immediately resuming previous dynamics, assuming her return means she is ready to invest equally. This is the wrong approach. Your value is demonstrated through your behavior, your priorities, and your standards, not through constant availability or eagerness to reconnect. By maintaining focus on your goals, your personal growth, and your independence, you communicate that your presence is not guaranteed and that you are not defined by her return. This naturally commands respect and heightens attraction. Actions speak louder than words. Show consistency, self-discipline, and emotional stability. Continue pursuing your interests, social life, and career with the same energy as before. A high-value man does not pause his life for someone who left, nor does he compromise his standards to regain attention. Reinforcing your value also means enforcing boundaries consistently. If she tests them through manipulative behavior, excuses, or emotional pressure, respond calmly and decisively. Do not bend to demands that violate your principles. This communicates that respect and alignment are prerequisites for engagement. Men often undervalue the subtle power of non-reactivity. By maintaining your composure and prioritizing your life, you send a clear message that your time, attention, and emotional energy are finite and precious. This contrast makes her reassess what she lost and why your presence is significant. Reinforcing value is not about ego or arrogance. It is about self-respect and strategic positioning. When she sees that you continue to live with purpose and independence, she is more likely to approach the renewed connection with seriousness and sincerity. Additionally, demonstrating value creates natural curiosity and emotional pull. She begins to notice what she missed and recognizes the difference between chasing someone who is reactive versus engaging with a man who is stable, confident, and intentional. Your reinforced value also sets the standard for future interactions. She knows that effort, honesty, and respect are necessary for continued engagement. This ensures that any renewed connection is grounded in mutual choice rather than convenience or impulse. By consistently demonstrating your worth, maintaining priorities, and upholding boundaries, you reclaim control of the dynamic, deepen attraction, and protect your self-respect. Reinforcing value is a cornerstone of strategic engagement after her return and positions you as a man who navigates modern dating with clarity, composure, and high standards. 7. Decide with clarity. When a woman comes back after leaving, the final and most important step is to decide with clarity. Many men make the mistake of acting impulsively, letting emotions or nostalgia dictate their response. This often leads to repeating old patterns, compromising boundaries, and sacrificing self-respect. Stoicism teaches that you must evaluate the situation logically, observe her actions, and measure them against your standards before committing to any renewed connection. Start by reflecting on her intentions, consistency, and the emotional effort she demonstrates. Has she returned with accountability and sincerity, or is she seeking comfort and validation without meaningful change? Assess how her return aligns with your goals, values, and priorities. Emotional clarity is critical here. Recognize your own feelings without letting them override rational judgment. It is natural to feel excitement, hope, or attachment when she reappears, but these emotions should inform your awareness rather than dictate your actions. Men often ignore red flags because they fear losing a second chance, yet doing so undermines self-respect and long-term attraction. Deciding with clarity also involves setting the terms of engagement. If you choose to reconnect, it should be conditional on alignment, accountability, and mutual effort. Do not resume old dynamics that previously led to imbalance or frustration. Communicate your boundaries and expectations clearly, calmly, and confidently. If her actions and intentions do not meet your standards, walking away is the correct choice. This preserves your dignity, protects your emotional energy, and reinforces your value. Many men fear that rejecting a return signals harshness, but in reality, it demonstrates strength, discernment, and strategic thinking. Making a clear decision also prevents prolonged uncertainty, emotional exhaustion, and repeated cycles of manipulation or inconsistency. Whether you accept her return or not, clarity ensures that your engagement is intentional and that your emotional investment is warranted. It also communicates to her that you are a man who acts from principles rather than impulse, someone who values self-respect and mutual alignment above temporary satisfaction. By deciding with clarity, you maintain control over the dynamic, reinforce attraction, and ensure that any renewed connection is built on authenticity, accountability, and mutual respect. This final step consolidates the power, composure, and strategic insight necessary for navigating her return effectively in the modern dating world. When a woman comes back after leaving, your response defines your value, influence, and the future of the connection. Too many men react impulsively, driven by emotion, nostalgia, or ego. Stoicism teaches that the key is composure, rational evaluation, and strategic action. Assess her intentions carefully, maintain emotional control, set clear boundaries, observe actions over words, take time before re-engaging, reinforce your value, and ultimately decide with clarity. Each step ensures that your presence is respected, your standards remain intact, and attraction is strengthened. Modern dating rewards men who act from self-respect rather than desperation. Reacting emotionally or chasing her return diminishes your value, while calm assessment and measured engagement enhance it. Her return is an opportunity to reset the dynamic, reinforce boundaries, and demonstrate that your attention and emotional energy are conditional on alignment and mutual respect. By navigating this situation thoughtfully, you protect yourself from repeating old mistakes, avoid emotional burnout, and ensure that any renewed connection is authentic and balanced. Ultimately, handling her return successfully is about clarity, composure, and strategic decision-making. You control your actions, not her choices, and this distinction defines high-value behavior. Acting with patience, observation, and intentionality allows attraction to rebuild naturally, ensures respect is maintained, and positions you as a man of strength and discernment. When you respond correctly, her return becomes an opportunity to elevate the connection rather than compromise your worth. Confidence, standards, and emotional control are your greatest assets in these moments, guiding you to the best possible outcome in modern dating.